So you mentioned another thing that absolutely blew my mind. You said each time you use Zoom, someone, a kid in the world gets to benefit from it. So tell us how myself and everyone in the world can do that as well.
Oh, well, it's just because what you do in B1G1, you
Mm-hmm.
just instead of saying, the traditional way of doing this
Mm-hmm.
is to say, we proudly support, some charity somewhere. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what B1G1 does is say, well, much better if you can, or not much better, but here's an interesting idea. What if you just could set up triggers or activities that you do in your business, and then each one of those triggers, you could control what it does. So for example, someone joins a mailing list, boom, this happens. Someone, you have a good phone call, this happens. You make a sale, this happens, right? So you can link all of these things together. You can do it so that it's automatic in the case of Zoom, or you can do it so that it's like a manual thing, right? Either way. But either way, it's really, really easy to do. Very, very easy. And what gets really interesting is that we track that and we track it. And you can put maps up. I'm sure you've seen it on your website. Everything is linked back to the global goals, and so it's all counting your impact on those things that we have to do by 2030. Otherwise, we're history. Those 17 goals and the 169 targets underneath it. And by the way, the way we measure all that and show it is we don't talk about the dollars. We talk about that was
Yes,
the impact. It's right there.
absolutely.
And so it changes up. And we even have cases where there's one lady, she told me this. I remember this because it was my last flight occurred after it, so it was on the 11th of March in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And she had just joined B1G1, and she was telling the night before, the day before, and she was telling a whole lot of people about that in the morning. And she said, I went home, this was in Melbourne, and I went home and I told my family that, I joined B1G1 and told them about it. And so we had a lovely time. And then I said to our 10-year-old son, Daniel, this is her talking to Daniel, Daniel, it's time to do the washing up. And she said, and Daniel's face, remember I talked about rolling eyes? Daniel's face was like, the typical sort of thing that you might expect from a 10-year-old kid. And she said, oh, well, we can B1G1 that. I said, what do you mean? So she creates the account, it's up on the phone, and she puts in the activity, when Daniel does the dishes, okay? And then you link it. And so Daniel's looking through these 500 projects and he says, oh, look at this. There's one that gives water. That's sort of sensible because I'm using water for the thing. So, and he says, oh my goodness, look at that. It's just a cent. And what do you think? Can we do 11 of them? And then just sure. So he's got this thing, whenever I do the washing up, 11 kits. And then he says, does that come out of my pocket money or would you advance me the money? But anyway, the crucial thing is that Daniel has not done the dishes. So, I mean, as in he keeps doing the dishes, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's something, there's like a ritual now, if you see what I mean. And so that's, I think, one of the great things about B1G1, that we can lock these
Mm-hmm.
things in. So yeah, it's really fun.
Absolutely. Love that.
Really, really fun.
So what kind of businesses would you say would benefit most from being part of the B1G1 community?
Well, I get amazed at
Mm-hmm.
there's podcast hosts, there's coaches, there's accountants, there's lawyers, there's manufacturers, there's
Restaurants, pest control
exactly,
companies,
restaurants. Yeah,
every business.
the
Yeah.
whole the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. It's like it's very, very, very interesting.
Oh,
Magicians,
oh yeah.
so yeah, it's It's very,
You
all
know,
we need is Apple to say every time we download.
well, I don't know about Apple, but to my, and again, that's one of the magical thing that happened to me by switching my entire shift from profit to impact, is that I got connected to someone that is a partner with someone from the Buffett family. So, and
Oh,
that
okay.
person is one of my business partners and a great friend, and I would like to introduce you to him. He's hosting a conference in February during the World Charity Month, where it's going to be around between 6 to 10,000 people attending, and Mary Buffett will
Oh,
be there attending that as well. So
seriously.
yes, I will connect you to them, and it would be an honor maybe to even have you guys be some way connected or present in that event, because everybody is going to be attending will be heart driven entrepreneur, business person
Oh,
at every level. And it would be a no-brainer for them to be introduced. I'm sure most of them already know what you guys are doing, but I will connect you with my good friend Sugdev. He's the person I'm referring to. So yeah, so
Damon,
that would be,
you're amazing. See, everybody listening, remember we said we're all connected? Remember that?
there's saying that's we all three connections away from every person on the planet.
It used to be six, right? But now it's three.
Yeah,
That's